Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Pitts, Assistant Director of Admissions with Midwestern State University. I work with high school students and transfer students primarily in Tarrant and Parker counties within the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It is a pleasure to share some information with you regarding what you will experience between the summer of your senior year through your first year of college. Hopefully, as a senior, you have been able to survive the crazy phases of the college admissions process. As a college representative, we spend so much time talking and walking you through the process of getting you to college, but we hardly ever talk about what the first year will be like and what all you need to do to be successful. We will be taking a close look at this in this presentation. We will first start with a picture for you to review. What do you see and how do you feel about it? If you look closely at these figures with the puzzle pieces, you will most likely interpret what is happening in different ways. One obvious interpretation is you can see the green student puzzle piece disconnecting from the blue high school puzzle piece and connecting to the red college puzzle piece. If you were to place yourself in the center as the student figure, you may feel excitement and eagerness, or you may even feel concerned, worried, or possibly scared. If you look a little closer at the student in this picture, the student figure is giving a thumbs up. So in this depiction, everything seems to be going well, and you could say that there is excitement about the transition from high school to college. However, for some students, they may give a thumbs down if it has been a stressful time deciding where to go to college, figuring out the financial aid and how much it will cost, and dealing with the emotions of saying goodbye to friends and family, or even realizing and dealing with the emotions that high school is over and now I'm going into the unknown. Whatever you are thinking of or feeling, whether it be negative or positive, it all is understandable. Just keep taking steps and moving forward in the process. I've titled this presentation, High School to College Transition. We will spend most of our time talking about the challenges, struggles, and pitfalls that students face in their transition to college. Hopefully, being aware of these things will assist you with being a little more ready for your transition from high school to college. As a student, you have worked so hard in building a community that makes up your current world, whether it has been a good and strong community of support or a community that is unhealthy, not so strong, and maybe not so supportive. So no matter what your current community looks like, you will be building a brand new community of support when you go off to college. You get to start all over, regardless of how far away or how close to home you're going to college. This is important because you're in control of how this will look. And if you have a good understanding of your needs, you can make and build your community in a way that will help you be successful. This is a list of specific topics that we will discuss as possible challenges, struggles, and pitfalls as we move through this presentation. We'll talk about saying goodbye, communicating with your college roommate, feeling homesick, time management, self-discipline, academic struggles, getting involved, professor interaction, and creating a strong support system. Let's first talk about saying goodbye to friends and family. I recommend starting the goodbyes in late spring or early summer. Go and have a nice dinner out with family, or go on a special outing or trip, and then actually talk with one another. Talk about what you're thankful for, what you appreciate in one another. Reach deep and talk about what you're feeling. The reason I suggest this is because if you wait to reach deep with your feelings and emotion on college move-in day, it will be a little much for everyone who's there. Your roommate will be there and their family. It can make for an awkward situation, and you may not say everything that needs to be shared or should be shared with family and friends. It can be a very emotional moment in time. And gentlemen, do not think you're exempt from this. This applies to you just as much as the ladies. A proper goodbye is healthy as you create separation with your parents. It is not like you will never see them, but it is good to have a separation as you prepare to assimilate to your new college environment, community, and new world. During the months of July and early August, reach out and communicate with your future college roommate. You will want to discuss who is bringing certain items, like who's bringing the TV, the microwave, fridge, etc. But also check the housing website or call housing to make sure what is allowed in your specific residence hall or apartment. Some items may already be furnished depending on the residence hall or apartment. I encourage you to take the time to get to know your roommate, no matter how similar or different they are to you. It is good to be respectful of your shared space and the needs you both may have. Decide on some ground rules that you both can agree upon. If you disagree on something, do your best to work out those disagreements by putting the other person before your own needs. You may not get your way all the time, and you just have to agree to compromise. You don't have to be best friends to maintain a positive friendship or living space. Take ownership of this experience, because if you let things get bad and you expect the housing office to intervene, they're going to encourage you to work through any disagreements before allowing you to change rooms or roommates. Universities know this is a learning experience, and they expect you to work through the good and the bad so that you can come away with some important life lessons. There may be times in college that you feel homesick. I encourage you to push through and make connections with others. The homesickness will eventually go away. Set some rules for yourself. Meet and get to know the students around you, and get out of your comfort zone when it comes to events or opportunities you can be a part of. There are many social events planned for the first 3 to 4 weeks of school, including weekends. I highly recommend not going home in the first 3 to 4 weeks. If you go home, you will create a bad habit of going home every weekend or every other weekend, and you miss out on all the fun stuff. Do not be this person. If you will plan to stay on campus those first few weeks, you will meet people that you will potentially be friends with your whole life. And when there is not an event on certain weekends, you will have a good group of friends that you can hang out with. You may choose to go to a concert, go hiking, or enjoy coffee or ice cream at a local hangout spot. You will meet people within your residence hall, the people you share classes with, play intramural sports with, or through an organization, club, fraternity, or sorority. There will be many ways in which you will meet fellow students. Be intentional and take the time to do this. As you take the time to meet and get to know other students, please be sure to also get involved and stay active. Don't let this be a pitfall for you in college. I've been told that it is good to be involved with something that is related to what you are passionate about, something that allows you to be personable with others, and then something that is peculiar, something that is out of your comfort zone and completely different from your norm. I have learned that it is good to participate in an organization or club that is related to your major. You may also get involved in other ways, but when you get involved with a club related to your major, you will have access to people who are on the same page as you are, and you will have the opportunity to network with alums who are already out there working in the professional world. There will usually be a lot of great advice, pointers, and experiences shared that you can learn from. I also highly recommend joining a living learning program where you have the chance to live on the same hallway as other students who share a similar interest or major. This creates additional levels of support when it comes to studying and preparing for courses within a certain major. Universities report that students involved in these kind of programs tend to have a higher GPA and are more likely to succeed in return after their first year. Whatever you do, do not isolate yourself. I've seen so many cases over my last 18 years of working in higher ed where students have bad experiences when they isolate themselves and do not take the time to get involved and stay active. Another reason for staying active is the freshman 15 or 20. Many of us kid around about the extra weight that you acquire because of the open buffets for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the free food from organizations on top of that. Realistically, your calorie count can be through the roof on some days due to all the food you have access to. So stay active, work out in the Student Wellness Center, take a yoga or Zumba class, play intramural sports so that you can stay healthy. Take the time to get to know your city, town, and community. I have very fond memories of people I've met at restaurants, churches, community events, and through volunteer opportunities. You never know when a possible contact can lead to a college job, an internship, a recommendation, or even a full-time job after college. This slide gives a rundown of all the possibilities of being involved while in college. While I was in college, I was involved with an academic club, played ultimate frisbee and intramural basketball, and worked as a resident assistant where I was in charge of my hallway. By the way, many colleges will pay for your housing, meal plan, and pay you on top of that if you get hired on as an RA. My wife, who I met in college, was a music major, and she sang in various choir ensembles, participated in various musical productions, which are often open auditions for anyone who is interested. We also both attended various organization meetings and special university events. The more you get involved, the stronger your support system gets. While staying involved and staying active is important, you will also need to learn the art of self-discipline. As you start to get involved, you will notice that various clubs and organizations will ask a lot of you if you're not careful. Even friends may ask you to go out when you don't have the time. So you need to know when to say no. If you have a paper or project that is due or a test that is coming up, you will need to be disciplined enough to say no sometimes. And that is okay. You can say, hey, I really need to get through this week. I will catch up with you next week. And that is certainly okay to do. If you push yourself hard to do everything, then you find yourself missing class or being late to class. And that is not a good thing. I had a professor in college who challenged us on the idea of missing classes. She always said, why would you miss class when you are paying good money or even taking out loans to attend class? Your education is first and is the main reason you're in college. That has to be your first priority. The reality is that if your grades slip below a 2.0 GPA, you could be placed on academic probation, which can then lead to academic suspension for a semester or possibly even a year if you do not keep your GPA up. You usually want to keep your GPA above a 2.5, and sometimes you may need to maintain a higher GPA depending on the requirements for your degree program. If you have plans to pursue a master's degree or graduate level program, I encourage you to keep your GPA above a 3.0 because this is usually the requirement for graduate school programs. If you are in a pre-professional program and your desire is to go on to medical, pharmacy, and vet school type of professional schools, then you will want to maintain a higher GPA between a 3.8 to 4.0. There will be a lot of things that will compete for your attention and time in college. It is all about finding balance. The one thing I struggled with the most in college was time management. If you were accustomed to balancing a very busy schedule in high school, then this may come easy for you. However, many students do struggle with this. The added element is that you're away at college and nobody is telling you how to live your life or telling you what to do. So the challenge is not letting the freedom go to your head. This requires self-discipline, time management, and creating balance in your new life at college. You may need to get a calendar or some way of keeping everything organized. I remember having dreams where I forgot an assignment or forgot to attend a class that I signed up for. I kept a calendar as a way to know what I had to do certain weeks, but also to know when to tell people no when I had certain things that were due. If you're planning to work in college, do your best to only work 19 hours or less per week. This may mean less money in your pocket, but the stats show that the more hours you work, the lower your GPA. This could affect scholarships that you currently have, or it could jeopardize getting scholarship money later in college. It could also keep you from really great academic opportunities with professors. The college classroom is going to be very different from the high school classroom. In most cases, you are taking notes or discussing a topic, and most of your work for the class takes place outside the classroom. You will definitely like the college schedule better than high school because you will be going from 35 hours of class time per week to only 12 to 15 hours of class time per week. Some days you may be done by lunchtime, or you may not even have class until the afternoon, depending on your schedule. Regardless of your schedule, you can see that there are a lot more hours in a week that you must manage well outside of your scheduled class time. Make good choices when it comes to time to study and when to go out and play. Your level of success in college, the scholarship money you could qualify for beyond your first year, and the academic opportunities you get to take advantage of, all comes down to your choices. University Support Services will provide information sessions to help you with study skills or various skills that students may struggle with during their first year in college. Go to a seminar or an info session on time management. Talk with your advisor or counselor. There are college staff members who are ready and willing to assist you all the time. Beyond self-discipline, creating balance, and time management comes the academic rigor of college, which can cause some students to struggle. I will often tell students that college was the best experience of my life, but it was much more challenging than high school. There is much more reading and writing that is required, and overall more problem sets that you have to work through. If you're accustomed to studying and working hard, then this may serve you well in college. If this is new for you, I encourage you to dig deep and develop good study habits and skills. This involves taking good notes, reviewing notes, learning to speed read or skim through your reading while also retaining the information you read. Know your learning style. This can come in handy when it comes to learning the material from a class and studying for tests. This involves knowing whether you learn best from hearing, writing things out, or simply reading. Every college and university provides tutoring for extra help in understanding concepts. Supplemental instruction, where you receive further instruction from a student or a college staffer who is knowledgeable about a certain subject or course that you're taking. If you're not a great writer, you may want to visit the writing lab to have someone proofread your papers before you turn it into a professor, or visit the math clinic to get help from a student who's really strong in math. There is plenty of help available. You just have to take the initiative to ask for help. When I look back on my college days, the one thing I wish I would have done better was interact more with my college professors. There will be times when you need to engage and interact with your professors. Every college professor will give you a syllabus on the first day of class that highlights when assignments are due, the professor's grading policy, attendance policy, extra credit opportunities, and when they hold office hours. Make sure you read this from beginning to end, because all professors will hold you accountable to everything that is written in the syllabus. Many students are intimidated by college professors with their high achieving degrees or by the way they conduct class. Don't let this keep you from taking the initiative to march down to their office to interact with them. Don't let your first interaction with a professor be arguing over a grade. Instead, show a little interest in the subject that they have devoted their whole life to. You will have made their day if you simply show a little interest, and if you engage intelligently, then they will certainly remember you. This can make the difference in a whole letter grade in some cases. It could also allow you to get a recommendation from a professor as you get to know them. If you find yourself getting behind in a class, always ask for help earlier in the semester. It is usually best not to argue over grades, but to maybe ask for help or ways you can earn extra credit. Building connections with professors may lead to an opportunity to be involved with undergraduate research, which looks really good on a resume. Sometimes students are even paid a stipend for the time spent on undergraduate research. This could also lead to professors writing recommendation letters that you can include as part of your resume for jobs or graduate programs. This slide provides a nice visual of a support system that you can create for yourself when you go off to college. You can build a strong community around yourself as you take the time to get involved on campus, participate in living learning programs, make connections with fellow students and professors, and as you tap into the resources that are available to you. By getting out of your comfort zone and surrounding yourself with people, no matter the personal struggles or academic problems that come up, you will have the support that will keep you motivated during your time in college and the support to help you persevere through some of those challenging times in college. I may have given you a lot to think about, but I hope it just helps you be mindful of some important things to be aware of as you make the big transition from high school to college. Whether you are ready or not ready for this transition, keep an open mind and stay positive. College can very well be the best experience of your life if you take full advantage of what it has to offer. I wish you all the very best in your transition and next chapter of life. If you have specific questions about MSU, or if you have general questions that relate to the topic discussed, feel free to call me or email me. If you would like to learn a little more about MSU, you can check out the link below for our MSU virtual tour experience or our campus visit opportunities. Thank you for joining me for this presentation.